In the 1940s, movie star Veronica Lake became one of the biggest celebrities in the world for a short time, thanks to hits like Sullivan's Travels and The Blue Dahlia. The actress had been pushed into show business at the behest of her mother after the tragic death of her father when she was 10. Despite the fast success Veronica found in Hollywood, tragedy continued to follow her over the course of her life. Her fame didn't last long, and she spent her final years in drug-induced squalor. Join Facts Verse as we explore Veronica Lake's tragic story. Veronica Lake was born in November of 1919 in New York. At the time of her birth, she was known as Constance. It wasn't until the early days of her Hollywood career that she took her more iconic stage name. Her father worked for an oil company, and when she was only 10 years old, he died in a tragic accident. After that, her mother remarried. Around this time, she got the idea to get Veronica involved in show business. As a child, Veronica didn't have much interest in performing, but she was pushed into the entertainment industry at the behest of her mother. Her mother moved the family to Florida, where she got her daughter involved in the local beauty pageant scene. Veronica proved successful in the local contests, and it inspired her mother to set her sights on Hollywood fame next. The family then moved to California, where Veronica began studying acting and auditioning for film roles to please her mother. Her first appearance in a feature film was in 1939, with a small role in a movie called Sorority House. At the time, she was still going by the name Constance Keene, with Keene being the last name of the man her mother had remarried. Following Veronica's first feature role, she could be seen in similarly small roles in the features All Women Have Secrets and Dancing Co-ed. She could also be seen in two feature films in 1940. These were 40 Little Mothers and Young as You Feel. But her rise to success came a year later, along with her transition to her more famous stage name. In 1941, the same year her first two big hits were released, she got married for the first time. She married an art director named John Detley and gave birth to a daughter the same year. Her first film role came in 1941's I Wanted Wings. She starred alongside William Holden, and it marked the debut of her new stage name. Producer Arthur Hornblow Jr., who helped Veronica rise through the ranks at Paramount Pictures, suggested the name Veronica Lake. With her new name, she became a giant star. Following the success of I Wanted Wings, Veronica could be seen in the equally successful Sullivan's Travels the same year. She then became one of the 1940s' biggest stars. She could be seen in features like This Gun for Hire, I Married a Witch, and The Glassy Key the following year. In 1943, she appeared in So Proudly We Hail. The film was one of the actress's biggest successes yet. At this point, it seemed the sky was the limit for Veronica Lake. But some unfortunate events after this brought her career to a halt and also caused problems in her personal life. Near the end of 1942, Veronica had become pregnant with a second child. The child was born prematurely in July of 1943 and died only a week later. The event was incredibly traumatic for Veronica, and her first marriage ended up dissolving by the end of the year. In addition to these personal troubles, 1944 also saw Veronica receive some negative attention for her allegedly poor performance in the film The Hour Before Dawn, which was a World War II film where she depicted a Nazi sympathizer. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Facts Verse for more, and stick around for a lot more on Veronica Lake. According to film critics, Veronica Lake's German accent in The Hour Before Dawn wasn't convincing. After a series of successes, this performance marked Veronica's first major failure. Paramount Pictures subsequently lost a bit of their confidence in her and began casting her in projects that didn't take full advantage of her talents. Some of her other misfires during the period included her performances in the films Hold That Blonde and Out of This World. Although her career was on a downward trajectory, she had one last big hit in 1946 with The Blue Dahlia. Featuring alongside Alan Ladd, her performance arguably became the biggest success of her career. She was one of the only actresses who could make the relatively short Alan Ladd look tall on screen. Ladd was 5'6", making him much shorter than the average actor, but Veronica Lake was 4'11", which made him look tall by comparison. Even though Veronica Lake made him look taller on screen, Alan Ladd apparently didn't get along well with his co-star on the set of The Blue Dahlia. In fact, it seems Veronica had a hard time getting along with any of her co-stars, and her reputation for being difficult to work with arguably didn't help her career very much. This poor reputation likely played a part in Paramount Pictures gradually giving the actress less respectable work. After her divorce from her first husband near the end of 1943, she married second husband André de Toth in 44. They had a child in 45 and another in 48. That same year, Veronica was let go from her contract with Paramount after a number of failures. After the death of her second child, Veronica's mental health suffered, and she began seeking increasing solace in alcohol. Because of this, her second marriage wasn't very healthy. Her second husband could apparently be violent towards her, and this didn't help her increasing mental troubles. After being let go by Paramount in 1948, she worked for some time with 20th Century Fox. This yielded the largely unsuccessful films Slattery's Hurricane and Stronghold. By the 1950s, her career was over. In 1951, she filed for bankruptcy, and she went on to divorce her second husband, Andre, the next year. A few years later, she tried marriage for a third time. Her third husband was a songwriter named Joseph A. McCarthy, though their marriage only lasted 4 years. When they divorced in 1959, Veronica suffered an ankle injury, which caused her to lose work. She entered the 1960s in even more dire straits than before. Early in the 60s, she attempted to revive her career by performing on stage. She could be seen in the off-Broadway production Best Foot Forward, starring alongside Liza Minnelli. But Veronica's attempts to become a stage actress didn't prove successful. The more she failed in her career, the more she turned to the bottle to quell her pain. She was arrested for public drunkenness several times and eventually retreated from the spotlight. Years after her attempted off-Broadway career revival, a newspaper piece was published depicting her life of squalor during the mid-60s. She was apparently living in a hotel at the time and working as a Manhattan cocktail waitress. The article was a success and led to a minor career resurgence. She began getting some work on television and even returned to film in 1966 with the movie Footsteps in the Snow. Capitalizing on the attention she started getting, she published an autobiography during the late 60s that sold fairly well. She used the money from the book to fund a vanity project called Flesh Feast. The 1970 horror film was her attempt to make it back into the industry, but it ended up being a failure. She then moved to England for a time, where she met and married her fourth and final husband, Robert Carlton Monroe. Their marriage was short-lived, and Veronica was back in America by 1973. That same year, she passed away. She was only 54 when she died from hepatitis, and not many people were said to be in attendance at her Manhattan funeral. Although she died without much fanfare, she remains recognized as a prominent Golden Age actress. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite Veronica Lake movie? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to FactsVerse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.